of a negotiation. It is an absolute mandate. When the Supreme Court speaks, the debate ends and enforcement begins. Nigeria produces oil, global music stars, and highly skilled professionals. Yet our most consistently successful industry is impunity. It operates in abundance, entirely immune to market crashes and power grids. Consider what happens when a military officer is convicted of a serious crime, fights the sentence for over a decade, and finally loses his appeal at the Supreme Court. A prison term should follow. Instead, the man simply evaporated from the justice system. Cases like this prove that the official national motto of unity and progress has been quietly replaced by a much more practical question: who will stop me? The officer in question is Bello Magaji. Years after evading a criminal sentence affirmed by the Supreme Court, he resurfaced at the pinnacle of academia, appointed as the dean of the Faculty of Law at a prominent Nigerian university. A man whose criminal convictions survived absolute judicial scrutiny was somehow given the responsibility of teaching future lawyers the mechanics of the rule of law. It carries the exact same logic as appointing a fire chief who secretly runs an arson syndicate, or a medical dean operating without a license. This scenario did not happen because one individual was uniquely cunning. It happened because every single institutional safeguard designed to catch him suffered a total, synchronized collapse. The timeline starts in 1997. Magaji was tried and convicted by a general court-martial for a serious criminal offense. For the next 11 years, he fought the conviction through the appellate courts. The journey ended in 2008, when a unanimous Supreme Court dismissed his final appeal. This is where the enforcement structures simply froze. The criminal justice system made zero effort to ensure compliance with the judgment. The prison doors never closed behind him. The convicted officer continued his life completely uninterrupted by the highest legal authority in the country. When the state refuses to act, a Supreme Court ruling loses its authority. It stops being a legal mandate and degrades into a polite recommendation. Rather than serving time, Magaji received a presidential pardon years later, during the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. A pardon does not erase a conviction. To wipe the slate clean, official records were allegedly altered to change his exit status. A formal dismissal closes professional doors and records disgrace. Voluntary retirement, however, maintains pensions, preserves dignity, and leaves networks intact. Armed with this sanitized history, he navigated smoothly through the vetting processes of multiple academic institutions across Nigeria and Uganda. Impunity rarely looks like a dramatic heist. It advances through tiny, quiet compromises. One official ignores a discrepancy, another signs off on a form, a third avoids the difficult questions. Now consider the perspective of the people walking these streets. They watch accountability evaporate for the elite in broad daylight. The societal reaction is entirely rational. If a Supreme Court judgment can be erased with a few altered files, why should anyone respect traffic laws, or pay taxes, or conduct business with integrity? This creates organized disorder. The mechanical systems of society seize up because the public loses all faith in the fairness and consistency of fair institutions. A single corrupt act damages a budget, but the systemic evaporation of public trust destroys the nation itself. Nigeria has enough statutes to fill vast libraries. The obstacle to development is not a lack of legal frameworks or talented people, but the sheer refusal to enforce consequences. Without consequences, laws become mere decoration, courts are reduced to theaters, and governance turns into performance art. We are feeding a persistent, highly dangerous belief that certain individuals are simply too fortunate or too well connected to ever pay for their actions. No society built on unchecked elite privilege can hold its weight indefinitely. Eventually, the bill always arrives.